Tricia and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to put together this ribbon poinsettia stem. Alright, so I have created these ribbon poinsettia flowers before. I will link the video that I did last week, how to create the flower, in the description box below. I am going to repeat the steps again, but because this is a stem, I will be using some different supplies. Just some of them are different, not all. And there will be a different step into finishing the flower so that it is a stem. So as before, I am using 2.5 inch wide ribbon. This is a number 40 or 2.5 inch wide ribbon. I need 40 inches of ribbon per flower, so that all just depends on how many flowers you're going to make. You do want a nice ribbon that is substantial, it has some body to it, preferably maybe even with a wire on the edge, so that you can keep the shape of your poinsettia flowers. Here I have a red velvet ribbon. This is a common traditional type of ribbon that we use for Christmas, and we see it everywhere. And then I chose this green, and I understand that this green looks very dark, almost black to you on camera. It is a kind of a hunter green for me, but you choose the colors that you want for your flower, whether it's a solid or if it has some patterns, polka dots, whatever, and then choose the green that you like for your leaves. Okay, we're also going to be using some little berries, or if you want to use, as I've said before, some beads or some rhinestones or anything else for the center of your poinsettia flowers. Now, to create the stems, we're going to be needing a stem wire. This is a stem wire, and this is an 18 gauge wire. And these are all, let's see, these are about 18 inches long. So you want to choose a nice long one, and also make sure that it is a nice thick wire that will stand to the weight of your flower, but that is also a little bit flexible, that you can bend it, but you don't want to hold it up and then it just droops on you. That is not the wire that you need. You need at least an 18 gauge. You don't want to go 20, 22, or 24. Those are a little too thin. All right, now for wrapping the poinsettia, last week I used the chenille stem or a pipe cleaner. This time I'm going to be using floral wire. Okay, this is a nice flexible thin wire. This is a 26 gauge. You can use a 24, 22 gauge if you want to use that. So these are for wrapping the flower, and this is to create the stem on the flower. We're also going to be needing some floral tape, and I'm using green floral tape here, only because I'm using green flowers, green leaves. If for some reason you choose to omit the leaves and you want to use white tape, go right ahead. But I just recommend using green because it'll look a little more natural, you know, like an actual stem. So we're going to need some floral tape. We need something to measure with. We are going to need wire cutters, scissors, and I've got my hot glue gun here, and it's all plugged in and ready, and of course some hot glue sticks. So let's get to making our floral stem. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut pieces of floral wire, and I'm going to cut one per flower that I want to make. I want to make 5 flowers, so I'm going to cut 5 pieces, and I'm going to cut these at least 6 or 8 inches long. They don't have to be very long, as long as they wrap around your flower. And then of course you will also need one per leaf that you're also going to create. So let's go ahead and cut. I'm going to go ahead and choose 7 inches. So there we go. And I know that you can't see it on the table here, but it is just a piece of wire right here on my hand here. Okay, so you just want some of those and just set them aside for when you're ready to use them. Alright, so for the flower, we're going to need at least 40 inches of ribbon, and that is because we're going to cut out 5 pieces, and each piece is going to be 8 inches long. So I'm just going to measure here and cut at 8 inches. And once I've measured that first piece, then I can use that same piece to cut the other 4 pieces. So I'm going to cut, again, 5 per flower, so just depending on how many flowers you choose to make. I think I'm going to decide to make 5 flowers, so that means I'm going to cut 25 of these pieces that are 8 inches long. Alright, once you have all of your flower pieces cut, these are going to be the petals of your flower. Now we want to take them, and I've got here a bundle of 5. You can cut them as you wish, however you feel comfortable to grab and cutting at the same time. And I'm just going to go from about 1 inch down on the side, upward to the center, And then do the same thing on the other side. Just going opposite to create this little peak right here. So you want that little point, and you want to do that on the other side of the flower as well. Alright, so now I've got 5 pieces, 8 inches long for each flower, and I've got a 6-inch piece of wire here ready on the side. We're going to go ahead and create one flower, and then from there, from those instructions, we'll create the rest of the flowers. We're going to take our first piece, or our first petal, and this is the right side up, this is the wrong side. Keep that facing downward and the nice part upward. You can just do it folding it on the table, or you can fold it in your hand, whichever you feel more comfortable. I will go ahead and fold this one in my hand just so that you can see how I do it. Simple. Fold it in half, just like that. And then take this little edge that you folded up and fold it down towards the fold. So you want that, like that. And then the other side, you're going to fold it down as well. So this is what you're going to have. It's going to look like a little bow. Okay? And then you can just hold it in your fingers, or if you prefer, you can get a clothespin and grab it, put it to the side, and work on your next petal. Put it in the clothespin and so forth until you've got 5 petals done. I'm going to hold it in my hand so that I can show you that you can either continue building it while you're holding it in your hand, or you can do it on the table. I'm going to put it on my hand just to show you. Now these steps are in my other video, and if you've already seen this, of course, you can skip right through this. There we go. I'm just going to make sure that they're aligned. Okay, now I can just do it on the table as well by folding it again, and then again, and this creates like a little accordion. All right. One more. And there we go. Now that we've got all 5 petals, actually now it's 10 petals if you look at it this way, it is actually 10 petals that you form. We're going to take our wire, and right on the middle, in the center of all these little folds here, you're going to place it, bring the ends down. Let me center it a little bit better right there. Bring them down to the back, and then you can turn your flower over, and you'll have these 2 little wire ends. And then we're going to twist the flower so that the wire tightens inward, and all this gets nice and tight, rather than just twirling this and all you're doing is just getting these 2 ends together, but your little loop here is loose and everything can come apart. So you just want to twist that. Okay, once you've got it nice and stable, and it's all nice and tight, but it's not like bending these little folds. Okay, you don't want this to get all bent. Okay, so now we're going to take these, and we're just going to kind of make a little fold here so that these 2 petals aren't very separate, and we can't really tell now where, like, this was like this before, right? Okay, but once you do like a little fold on these, pinch them, and then these over here also pinch them, then they kind of fall into place like a petal. And then you can just go, and what I do is I just grab it by the little wire on the bottom, and then what I do is I just kind of punch up the little ends here, and that kind of gives it like a little 3-dimensional feel to our flower. Just kind of push it upward. Gives our petals a little more shape. It gives them this little indentation right here. Get that up there so that you can see. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to create 5 of these, and we'll go now to doing our leaf. Okay, so for our leaf we need 10-inch pieces. So I'm just going to cut this at 10-inch, and this will actually make 2 leaves. So every 10 inch is 2 leaves. So it just depends on how many leaves you want to put on each stem. That's how many of these you're going to cut. So if you want it to have 4 leaves on there, then cut 2 of these. Okay, so we're going to take this 10-inch piece, we're going to fold it in half, and we're going to put it so that the nice sides are facing each other. And as you can see, this is now the wrong side of the velvet ribbon. And the reason that I did this is because here I can see where I'm cutting, and hopefully you can too. So then I folded it again in half. As you saw, I folded it once, and then like so. So here I have a folded edge, here I have a folded edge, and here I have an open edge and an open edge here. So from this bottom folded edge, we want to measure 3/4 inches to 1 inch upward. Just put your little thumb there, your little finger there, just kind of mark where you feel that that's about 1 inch or 3/4 of an inch. It depends if you want to do 1/2 inch, and altogether it'll be 1 inch once you unfold it. But I kind of go like maybe 3/4 inch. And then we're going to do a little curve cut inward, but we're not going to go all the way over here. We're just going to go somewhere about now almost halfway, right there. And then before we cut off the wire, we're going to turn right back around, make a little point right there, and make another little curve. And it is just like the way that I did the other leaves in the other video. So if you've seen this again, you can skip right through. The only difference is I'm using a floral wire rather than using a chenille stem or a pipe cleaner. So now that's been cut, and we open it up, and this is what we have. So let me fold it so that you can see what the shape is. It's like a little Christmas tree, and then you're just going to pop it open. Okay, once you have it like that, you're going to do the same thing like you did with the petal. You're going to take a wire, we're going to fold it in half, take this end, fold it back down, and then on the other side we're going to do the same thing and fold it down. So we have like a little bow tie. And then we're going to take our, now in this case I'm going to push it down. I kind of crush it a little bit, make it a little bit flatter, push those little folds down, make sure you have your wire in the center. Try to get those leaves almost exactly the same size. If one's a little bit shorter than the other, that's fine, but try not to make one too long, because then it loses its body and it loses the shape. So we're just going to twist this just like we did the flower. Twist the actual ribbon part rather than this little wire, and this one doesn't matter, we're just going to keep it like that straight. And now we have these leaves, and because this wire had a little, sorry, this ribbon had a little bit of wire on it, I can manipulate it and fold these and shape it so that I push them upward like that rather than them going straight across each other. So now we have this shape. So we have, here we have our flower and we have our leaves. Now we'd like to put something in the middle of our flowers, but I'm going to do that once I've constructed the whole thing and we have it all ready as a stem. Alright, now to make our flower into a stem, we're going to take this long wire, this 18 gauge wire that's a little bit firmer, and it won't just flop on us, it will stay straight even if we hold it. And this will be able to hold the weight of this flower. So we're going to take this wire, and we're just going to do a little bit of a hook. You can just bend it with your fingers like so. If you need to use some pliers, go right ahead. Do like a little hook like that. All right, just like that. And we're going to hook this over. We're going to hook this over the center of our flower. Bring that over, and then just bring it back around over here, and then just kind of press it together. Just squeeze it. You can use some little pliers to tighten that up, okay? As you can see, I was able to do it with my fingers. I didn't need any wire pliers. Okay, so now we're going to take this wire from the flower, the one that was wrapped around it, and we're going to wrap it around the stem wire. Okay? So that is what I have behind it all wrapped up. This is how it looks in the front with that little hook going over it, and that's holding the flower up really well. It is not bending down on me because of the weight. It is staying up. Okay, so now all we have to do is get some of this floral tape, and we're going to start at the very top. You could cross over and cover this, but we're going to put some little beads there so we don't have to cover that up. So we're going to start at the back, and we always want to pull on our tape. And when you pull on the tape, that releases the adhesive on it. A lot of people have tried using the tape, and all they do is just wrap it around. They're wondering, well, why doesn't it stick? Because you're not stretching it to release the adhesive. Now, don't stretch it too much because you could tear it. So just grab it, and then what I do is I wrap it around, and then I kind of press it together like that so it sticks. So that end is stuck to the rest of the tape, and now I can go ahead and start wrapping around my stem. And I like to twist my stem as I do this, and just start wrapping. And as you're wrapping, you're pulling on the tape. Let me turn it around this way. So just twisting it and pulling on the tape and twisting and pulling. And at the same time, I'm also pressing down the tape. And as you're wrapping it around, you're also overlapping the tape on top of itself so that it is sticking onto something, because it's not just going to stick onto the wire. You want to make sure that it overlaps over itself. Pull it nice and tight. And then just decide where you want your leaf. And right about where I want my leaf is where I'm going to stop. And I'm going to grab a leaf, slide it in there, and I'm going to wrap the wire from the leaf again onto the stem of the flower. And then we're going to start wrapping that wire from the leaf along with our stem. Okay, so just do that. I'm just being a little patient. And now once I'm getting towards the end here, I just want to make sure that it does cover all. Pull on it, release. And then pull a little bit more and cut that off. And then just wrap that little end around there and press it so it sticks. So now my stem is all covered in green. If you feel like I want it to look a little bit thicker, and start wrapping it again with more of this tape. Now, also if you decided that you want more leaves on your stem, anywhere, you might start way up here if you wanted. You might have that one there. You may have another one a little bit lower. Maybe just go have it facing this other way. It all depends on what you want, okay? So how many leaves you want to put on there. But I wouldn't put them too low, because a lot of this will get hidden within an arrangement if you decide to create an arrangement with it, or make it cut off. So don't worry about it going too low. I think either putting these 1 10-inch, which makes 2 leaves, or 2 of them to make 4 leaves would be adequate for a stem like this. I probably might even want it a little bit closer, you know, a little bit higher. So what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to do that on another stem, because I'm going to go ahead and leave this one as is. And now to finish it off, I'm going to glue some little beads right there, some little gold berries that I took off of a stem that I purchased. I'm actually going to bend this a little bit underneath, bend it just a little bit like that. Okay, so just make sure this is centered. It's still in the middle. And I'm going to put some glue. And I just want to put 4 of these little berries. I've already used these before, and I've discovered that 4 of them is enough. But it depends on what size of little berries or beads you have, or little rhinestones, or maybe you want to use a button, even a little brooch, something elegant, if you want to use that. So it all just depends on what you have. And there we go. I've got the little center of my flower. It's got some leaves. So that is my finished stem. I'm going to take this greenery basket that I've had all year long, and I'm going to dress it up with my ribbon poinsettia so they'll be nice and pretty for Christmas. So I'm going to take 1, because I made 5. I want 1 right in the middle, and I'm just going to compare the length of the wire stem here, and if I need to trim it, I'll get my wire cutters, but this is a good length, and I'm going to put this right in the middle, just like that. And then I'm going to take the other 4. I'm going to put 2 down here at the front, and 1 that's going to be kind of at the sides here, and I'm going to repeat it over on the other side. And because this basket is going to be up against the wall, there'll be a wall behind it. I don't need any flowers at the back of it. I've actually pushed all the greenery towards the front and the sides. But if you want to have this where you can see it all around, of course, spread out all your greenery, and then of course make enough flowers to put all the way around. I'm going to trim a couple of these stems because I want them to be in the front, and I want them to be a little bit shorter. I don't want them too close to the center because I will be putting a bow. So I'm just going to push this right in, just like that. Let's do 1 more on the other side. Push that right into the styrofoam. You need to move some of that little hay that's in there, the more moss, out of the way. There we go. Spread them out a little bit more. And then I want these to kind of come up from the sides here. So I'm going to trim the stems just a little bit. And then just kind of maneuver, bend them, whichever way you need to do that, so that they will look pretty. Let's do it on this side. Just like that. And now I've got some little berries here that I purchased, and these are the same berries that I was using for the center of my flowers here. So this one I've cut up quite a few, so it's a little bit shorter. So I'm going to put it here in the front, right there, and then the other two at each side. And I'm going to trim them just a little bit. I want to be able to see the berries, so I'm going to push these towards the front. There's actually a handle right here in the front here. And one on this side. Gotta push leaves out of the way and tuck it in there. There we go. And then I've got a nice bow that I can tie to the handle up at the front of my basket. There we go. Make sure you secure it nicely in there and then just poof it up. All right, everyone, that has been my tutorial on how to create these ribbon poinsettia stems. And as you can see, they weren't hard at all to make. You can create as many as you want and use any ribbon color or even a pattern that you want to use. You can use a thinner ribbon if you want to make smaller poinsettias. And as you can see, they look beautiful in this greenery basket that I've now transformed for the holidays, just by adding a little bow in there as well. Well, I'm going to give myself a big old thumbs up, and I hope that you too will leave me a big old thumbs up. Leave a nice comment down below, and make sure you subscribe if you haven't already done so. Thank you to everyone who has been subscribing, and please hit the notification bell. I have videos every Tuesday and every Friday, and once in a while I have a weekend vlog. And from here on, it's going to be all Christmas crafts. If you have any suggestions, go ahead and throw them my way. You can follow me at Tricia's Creations on Facebook, or you can follow me at Tricia Texas Lady on Instagram or Twitter, and you can also DM me there if you wish. All right, everyone, I hope that you did enjoy this and that you'll be creating this as well. Again, leave a nice comment down below, share on your social medias, and as always, enjoy.